Hello and welcome to Mystic Visions. I have changed the name of the channel from Dr. Shiny Tarot to something a little more appropriate because Dr. Shiny is really an alias that I picked up in the video game community and a little bit less appropriate for tarot readings and things like that. So this is going to be a daily pick a card reading for December 22nd, Tuesday. And the purpose of this reading is to give you a brief piece of advice or to help guide your overall focus for the day. And if you are looking for a longer, more detailed reading, please check out my channel. And if you're new to pick a card readings, the way this works is that you'll choose one of the three piles here and then click on the timestamp in the description to skip ahead to the reading you've selected. If you feel compelled to choose more than one card, that is fine. Please follow your intuition. There's likely to be some very good advice in each reading, but one might be more accurate to your situation than the others. I have also added 3 crystals to help you decide. And today the crystals I have are this pink agate. This is a Dalmation jasper. And this is bismuth. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds of silence so you can meditate on your choice. And once you have your choice in mind, go ahead and scroll down to the description and click on the timestamp for your choice. And we'll go ahead and start the 30 seconds right now. Okay, so if you have not already done so, please go ahead and make your selection and scroll down to the description and click on the timestamp corresponding with the deck you've chosen to skip ahead in the video. So, for card number 1, if you chose this pink agate, what we have for you, you have the 10 of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Cups, and the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, so the 10 of Wands is typically a over-encumbered type of energy. This is something that you've taken on pretty much all that you can manage. You're doing the absolute most you can do, but it can be like overworked as well. So you're kind of resisting this feeling. You're not wanting to go too far with the work. You're not wanting to give it your all. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not it's not laziness per se, or rather, let me say that laziness is kind of a title that was invented by a capitalistic society that places a huge value on productivity, right? So productivity in and of itself is not a virtue as our society may have led you to believe, right? So what happens is we push ourselves and we have this idea that if you're doing nothing, neither contributing nor really relying on others, that is a net negative. So your baseline for this society is already a negative, even if you're doing nothing. It's not neutral like it should be. It's just negative. So we're always kind of pushing to do more, to accomplish more, and all that, and the cycle never really ends. So with this card, you're feeling a little resistance to the just busyness for the sake of being busy, or working for the sake of work, and it's a totally understandable place to be, that you want some leisure time. You don't want to just completely be busy all the time. But being that this is the 10 of Wands, you're not lazy either. You are open to doing work if it's something that fulfills you. So there is that kind of balance that comes here. It's like you want things to be somewhat efficient. You don't want to feel over encumbered by everything. And what is crossing you here is this Eight of Cups, or challenging you, influencing you. The Eight of Cups is withdrawal, so you may be a little bit withdrawn at the moment. It has this sort of it has this feeling of relaxation, of vacation sometimes, but also it can just be like running from your problems a little bit. But, in this situation, I don't feel like it's so much running from your problems as it is just kind of taking a breather, getting a little bit of reprieve from this over-encumbered or overwhelming type of energy that may have been affecting you. So the temptation here with this Eight of Cups is to just sort of walk away from it all and just let it go completely, and to just say, well, whatever, I wash my hands of this situation, I'm out, and so what the Two of Pentacles here in your advice card is saying is, rather than take either of these extremes, which one of these, it's very, very clear that you don't want to go all the way that way. You don't want to put up with everything. You don't want all of that, back-breaking labor and hard work, or just, putting up with a lot of action and doing and things like that. You don't want that to go to the extreme, but you also, you may be just now coming back into this more Eight of Cups energy, but you also don't want to take that to the extreme. There's loneliness there and a lack of productivity that tends to have a sort of hollow feeling at the end of that road. So, but it is useful as a transitionary state, right? So what you're looking for is something that's a little bit of a balance between the two. How do you, get involved with what's going on around you, but at the same time maintain this distance or this reservation to stay out of it, to the point where you feel like you're up to your neck in it, right? You don't want to feel too like your head is above water or below water, but you want to not completely withdraw from that situation either. So if you're going to do that, then there has to be a sort of a better balance. There has to be, in the Two of Pentacles, the first thing that comes to mind for me is like work-life balance. So it is a matter of, working while you're at work and then living when you're not at work, and kind of like not tying your personal life in with work too much, because that is a recipe for like overworking and not taking the time that you need for yourself outside of work, and that kind of thing. But then also when you're relaxing and when you are at home, let that be some recharge, relaxation time. Don't bring work home with you, in the literal sense. Don't work for your job at home too much, but also when you are home, be home. Don't be at work. Don't be doing more work when you get home. Actually take some leisure time. Actually take some time for relaxation or recharging and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it for card number one. Fairly comprehensive reading there for your pink agate. So now let's go ahead and move on to card number two. Card number two, if you chose the Dalmation Jasper, this is a reading for you. Okay, so there's the Hermit, the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, and Temperance. Okay, so with the Hermit here, you're kind of in a spot of a little bit withdrawal or isolation. This isn't necessarily a lonely feeling. A lot of times, if it's in the upside down position, it's a little bit more of like loneliness or not having people around. But this, in the upright position, is just kind of more like meditation, soul searching, being in a spot where you're either taking time for yourself, by yourself, or you want to. It's on your mind. You're focused on getting a little bit of alone time, being with yourself a little bit more. And wonderful thing to focus on. If you're feeling like you need this, then it's probably true. It's probably a wise decision to make, to take some of that time for yourself. Now, the challenging energy here is this Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Eight of Pentacles is a very busy and productive, but also fulfilled state of mind in the upright position. Now, in the reverse here, there's two possible meanings. One of them is that you're resisting doing this kind of work, and the other one is that you're just kind of like not feeling fulfilled. You're not feeling like you have a good project going on or something that's really, kind of lighting your fire. So it could be that innate desire to see this hermit energy, or to live this hermit energy, is the direct result of looking for something that actually, makes you feel good about life, feel good about yourself. You may be drawn to kind of blocking out the noise around you because you're searching for what is really going to make you happy, what's really going to fulfill you. So there's a really good chance that you're already kind of on the right track with that. Your advice card here being Temperance. Temperance is about, it's a mixing of things. It is, and I'm not completely clear on why they chose to illustrate it with this particular artwork in this deck, but the way that I always think of temperance is like if you're making a sword, for example, you heat it up really hot till it's almost like on the verge of melting, and then you hammer it with a hammer a bunch of times, and this violent process hardens the steel and makes it a lot more tough and stronger. And so the way that I like to think of it, temperance is like reactivity, and it's sometimes quite a bit violent, and it feels like it's breaking you down, but it's breaking you down in a way that builds you up, right? So what this is to say is whenever you're feeling a little bit like unfulfilled, or you're feeling like things are not going your way, they're breaking you down, try to focus on how it's possible that what you really want out of life requires for you to learn particular lessons that you're being taught by going through what you're currently going through, right? So in other words, to give you an example, one time I suggested to my wife, who is an artist, that, she asked, well, not really asked, but she was going over how many terrible things she's been through. And I said, well, you want to be an artist, but being an artist requires the ability to have an intense understanding of emotions and being able to convey them and everything. So it's possible that these things that you have gone through have really just been a sort of a way for you to experience this depth of emotion so that you're able to convey it through your artwork and be a successful artist on the other side of that. And I don't know how much that broke through to her, but she seemed to be open to that idea. And so it's very possible that you go through hardships, you go through tough times and whatnot, because it's teaching you some kind of a skill, whether it be like patience or whatever it is. It's teaching you something that you're going to need in order to live your best life in the future. So keep that in mind as you do a little bit of soul searching here and figure out what it is that you're trying to do. And if you are thinking about this and you need a clue as to what do I want to do with my life, what am I going to do, think about the way that your experiences and the things that you've gone through have empowered you in one way or another. They've made you more skilled in able to deal with certain types of stress or certain challenges. Look there for some clues as to what you would be most fulfilled in your life doing. And that's a little hint for you. Okay, so that's it for card number 2. So we're going to go ahead and move on to card number 3. Card number 3, if you chose Bismuth, this is for you. Okay, we got the King of Cups, Mr. Aquarius there, the water bearer. Judgment. And the 6 of Pentacles. Okay. 6 of Pentacles. So the King of Cups, this is so the King of Cups is very good at managing and using his emotions. He understands emotions on a way that can sometimes make him very a comfortable person to be around. He uses his understanding of human emotions to deal with people, and so he has this sort of innate understanding of what you're going through, or sympathetic, very sympathetic, empathetic person. But he seems to always have this stability that he lends to the situation, right? So this could be somebody around you, but it also could be an energy that you're bringing to the situation. But whichever is the case, there is definitely this sort of like emotionally stable presence, which is a good thing for you to seek after in this current time. And it's definitely an energy that you're going to want to preserve, or to keep kindled. We'll say it that way. Challenging you here is this Judgment card. Now, Judgment is, if it's something coming down on you, it could be somebody else's judgment that is challenging you, that is making you feel like they're not being fair or something like that. So that King of Cups energy can help you in that situation to just kind of understand their position, where they're coming from, and understand that one of the critical aspects of Judgment is your life experience, the things that you've gone through. And those life experiences can lead you to be suspicious, even when there's not really an obvious reason why you should be suspicious. So, keep that in mind, that what a person has gone through it's kind of like a filter or a screen at which they're seeing the world through. And because of that, you have to be cognizant of that. You have to be patient with that. And don't send the wrong signals. Knowing how they may be feeling, figure out how to react in a way that takes their position into mind and doesn't just get caught up in your own ego or something like that. This could also refer to like your own judgment. So you may be having some problems with judgment about knowing when to back off or when to go for it, who to trust, that kind of thing. So that could end up being a little bit of an issue for you in this situation. But again, a good way for you to get through that, if that's how this is affecting you, is to tap into that King of Cups energy. And so a critical aspect of this with the King of Cups, something about empathy. Empathy can be extremely dangerous. It can be very dangerous because it's very easy to be taken advantage of. If you care about people, people will use that as leverage over you. And a lot of times they do it unconsciously. They don't even know really that they're doing it, but they do it just out of instinct almost. And it's probably because they were taught through bad parenting practices or something like that when they were young. They were taught that behavior was reinforced. Unfortunately, it's not like their parents meant to do it, but we all do the best we can. And sometimes you got a child that's really good at getting what he wants, and that behavior gets enforced. So you have to be careful with that. But a key aspect of this King of Cups here is that while he has empathy, he is able to compartmentalize and have a healthy relationship with empathy rather than letting it get above him or letting it take him away. And this is where that stability of the King of Cups specifically comes from. It is knowing how to maintain healthy distances with other people and their emotional states instead of allowing those extreme emotional states to get to come close to home a little bit too much. So the advice card here is the Six of Pentacles. In the Six of Pentacles, there's a twofold energy. There's somebody is giving, a sort of charitable giving, but then there's also a sort of a receptive element. So either one of these could apply to you in your situation. Very often, it's actually kind of both at the same time. But for your advice in this situation, this I tend to think focuses on more charitable giving. And so there is somebody who needs you to assume this King of Cups energy, that you need to be there. So don't think that the way through this is to just completely withdraw or to cut them off or ghost them or something like that. You have an abundance of emotional intelligence that can help this person, but in order to help this person, you're going to have to find a way to hold them at bay a little bit, or to not just allow them to control the situation or to treat you a particular type of way that you don't find fair, right? Just because of their past experiences or what they're used to dealing with in that Judgment card. You're going to have to set, healthy boundaries. That's what this King of Cups is really good at. He puts up enough of a boundary between him and others that he is able to offer that emotional support without it becoming something that harms him. And so, I think that that's your kind of advice here. Is you have something to give, you have some kind of help to lend to this situation, but it's going to rely on you figuring out a way to maintain that sort of healthy distance, I think. And this Judgment here reinforces that to me, because this looks very much kind of like a barrier to this road here. So, that's definitely what I'm feeling with that. And that's about it for the reading today. And if you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and leave those for me. And check out the reading for the next day. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.